Many of the largest and brightest companies run AppDynamics to continuously monitor their mission-critical applications. AppDynamics gives you true end-to-end visibility so you can achieve full stack and business observability, all within a single intuitive UI called a controller, so that everyone across your organization can collaborate and quickly identify the root cause of performance problems. We accomplish this by installing our lightweight agents across your entire application landscape to give you the deepest visibility at the lowest overhead. Most enterprise deployments are thousands to tens of thousands agents and millions of metrics. Cisco, for example, was a customer of ours for 3 years before acquiring AppDynamics. They deployed over 15,000 agents globally across 23 data centers within a week. Let's dive in and inspect the health of our monitored applications. In this application landing page, I can see the overall health of each of my monitored applications with metrics on throughput, response time, errors, and any alerts and health violations. I can change my view perspective from card view to grid view or flow view. In the flow view, I can quickly see which applications have dependencies and which don't. This view is very helpful for understanding the scope or realm of impact during an upgrade or migration. We have more granular RBAC, role-based access control, than any other APM vendors, so you have high confidence and assurance that different teams managing different components will have their own appropriate role-based views. The e-commerce application generates significant revenue stream for my company, so I'll demonstrate how to quickly identify issues and pinpoint root cause. I'm presented with a real-time, automatically discovered topology view of my application called a flow map. Our agents automatically discovered all of the components, frameworks, interdependencies, and their performance. We tag, trace, and follow every transaction journey, giving you a holistic view of your application and transactional health and performance. This application flow map is modeled in a hierarchical structure. At the top of the hierarchy is our application, which in this case is this e-commerce app. The next level down is tiers, depicted as circles. Tiers can contain one or more nodes, like a cluster of servers that perform the same function. A node typically corresponds to a monitored application runtime, like JVMs and CLRs in the application environment. I can see which tiers have downstream dependencies to which database backends, queues, third-party HTTP calls, and any other application dependencies. With AppDynamics Auto Discovery, you get rapid time to value. Vodafone, a major telecom in the UK, before becoming an AppDynamics customer, had spent £2 million over the span of a year just on mapping out 10 user journeys. Have you ever been woken up in the middle of the night to put out fires with production, only to find out that it was a false alarm? How accurate are the alerts you're currently receiving? What percentage of the alerts would you estimate as false positives? We have a unique and differentiated approach to accurate and proactive alerting. By baselining every metric, taking into account on the time of day, day of week, time of month, etc., we can proactively detect deviations from normal performance, alert you when something is out of the ordinary so you can address it before it impacts your customers worldwide. Think about the benefit of this. This means no more ineffective, rigid, static threshold rules, more reliable alerts. Besides obtaining a holistic view of app performance, there's also an important need to understand the performance of each transaction type. Just as how performance may vary depending on the time of day, the same is true for different types of transactions. Business transactions are your only consistent measurement of your application user experience. Regardless of which programming language or frameworks your application is built on or evolves to, you'll still have the same user interaction-driven business transactions like logging in, adding to cart, checkout, etc. We are measuring each and every individual business transactions because we know they don't all perform the same way. It's inaccurate to rely on static thresholds. Typically, when customer calls into support hotline, they're not telling you which server is down or which database ran out of connections. They're expressing their dissatisfaction from a top-down business context on how they're experiencing a slow login or checkout process. Checkout is an important business transaction. Slow checkout leads to cart abandonment, which leads to lost revenue. Unhappy users can damage your brand reputation with negative reviews. Unlike other competitors that tell you after the fact in hindsight, AppDynamics tells you the yellow so you can stay ahead of the problem. Be proactive rather than reactive. I can see that the frequency and duration of health rule violations associated to checkout. I can see a timeline of when the violation started and ended, and what actions were automatically triggered as a result of the violation. In this case, we're automating an incident in ServiceNow, but it could have been configured to trigger a custom remediation script or any third-party HTTP webhook instead. Let's drill down further to investigate the performance problem at the time of its occurrence. We're presented with the transaction flow map of a single transaction type, which in this case is checkout. AppDynamics time and score every single transaction, 100% of your transactions. With AppDynamics tag and follow tracing technology, we're able to correlate business logic with the application components involved. We use standard deviations from the intelligently self-learned dynamic baselines to identify slow or very slow performance. That dynamic baselining is at the application level, is at the business transaction level, and at each and every individual metric level as well. Could be database calls, could be any number of things. We're always looking at what normal behavior is, so that at any time, you can go back and check, did we deviate from what's expected for everything? Most companies don't have this level of visibility and precision. Like a reverse speed traffic camera, we're automatically capturing these snapshots when you're in violation, in this case going too slow rather than too fast. We're able to capture the full call stack, giving you deep visibility while maintaining low overhead, roughly 2% CPU or less. Unlike other APM vendors that indiscriminately capturing pure paths and hitting their overhead limiter, which results in them capturing less granular and less frequent snapshots, with AppDynamics, you'll always get the full call graph, deep diagnostics, especially during those peak workload times when you need the most visibility. So let's inspect the transaction snapshot. With execution time of half a minute, we score this performance as very slow. In the single snapshot, we have the complete user journey from the point a user clicked checkout button on the browser all the way to the point where a query was made to the database and back. We have a complete view of where the problem is at any point. I can click in and start at the beginning. I also have the option to review the potential problems that have surfaced up for me on the left. Without having to do anything further, we've already identified there are a number of problematic queries, all within one screen. With this incredibly intuitive UI, I can follow the red or yellow and immediately see the majority of the time was spent here where the inventory service was querying the Oracle database. For many companies, to isolate the problem and down to this level could take hours, if not days. You saw how we're able to accomplish this with just a few clicks. We're presented with the call graph, capturing every method and time spent on each method. We can trace the call stack. Unlike other competitors, which can only capture standard framework methods out of the box, we capture both custom and standard methods automatically, which is important if you want your developers to leverage your APM solution to improve their code. I can see which specific call is taking the longest and how the cart service checkout method is being invoked repeatedly, which looks suspicious to me. I can follow the downstream calls going from one JVM to another JVM. Drilling down, I can see the call graph of the inventory server. I can see down to the actual SQL query that was executed. I can share an export of the snapshot, giving actionable data to the development team responsible for the checkout transaction and to the DBA responsible for optimizing the query. I have the facts I need to determine what the problem is and who's accountable. No more blame game and crowded war rooms. If we enable additional method invocation data collectors, we can capture and analyze the profile of who was impacted, how much merchandise was in the checkout cart, We can then leverage our Business IQ platform and its analytics and dashboarding capabilities to further perform segmentation, health, comparison analysis to gain actionable, real-time business insights correlated with application performance. Capturing contextual data like username, product name, etc. helps you with win-back campaigns to avoid negative reviews and prevent damages to your brand reputation and revenue stream. So in summary, you saw how quickly and easily I leveraged AppDynamics to proactively monitor mission-critical applications and pinpoint the root cause of performance problems. By providing complete visibility, real-time insights, and automated actions, AppDynamics empowers IT from servicing the business to a driving force for making better business decisions. No longer is IT in a supporting role for the business, but a true partner being called on to drive the business. That's where AppDynamics comes in. The 3 key takeaways are faster, better, and smarter. 1. Faster time to value, thanks to auto-discovery and dynamic baselining for the most accurate, relevant, and proactive alerting. 2. Better root cause analysis, deepest code level diagnostic visibility with the lowest CPU overhead of any APM solutions, less than 2%. And 3, smarter decision-making and automated remediation. We correlate business context with your application so you can perform code release comparisons, validate the performance improvement and business impact of your code changes, deployments, or migrations. Lastly, we're here to help you observe what matters. These are the key differentiators that make AppDynamics the best APM solution in the marketplace. Thank you.